Hello, dear students. This is Professor John Forsyth again. Today I'm using PyCharm instead of VS Code just to show the little differences for those of you that may be using PyCharm, just slightly different interface. And I'm going to go over pretty much everything in Chapter 2 of the text that we're using to learn Python. So to start off, this might be a little dry, we're just on the basics here. But I've got a folder here I've created to store any files I want to for this project. I've already started a project, so I'm not demonstrating that. And what I want to do is right-click this main folder and create a new Python file. And I'm just going to name it demo, just to keep it simple. Okay, so it automatically adds the .py for me. I could have added that and it would have been just fine as well. But let's look at strings first. So I could create a variable and assign a string to it. So I'm using, strings come in both double quotes and single quotes. So I could just store my first name as John, and then I can go ahead and I can print that. So if I print first name and play that, I just get John lowercase just as it was stored originally. Now strings have methods attached to them, which are different like actions you can take on a string. So the way you activate a method or call a method, we say, is you type dot, and it actually shows me a list of methods I can do. But I want to do the title method. So, and you need parentheses in order for a method to be activated. So now if I do that, what that's going to do is give me, well, a titleized version of that. So just capitalizing each first letter of the word, of each word. So for example, if I put my last name as well, then the title version of that is capital J, capital F, even though originally I put it lowercase here. Some other methods we can do are, for example, if I had like an all caps name, I could lowercase that with a method called lower. So if I play that, it lowercases this uppercase John, and I can do the reverse as well. So if I just had Jon, I can uppercase that as well. So there's many. I encourage you, if you're ever wondering, like, oh, I wonder what, or you can just type a dot and explore the different methods that there are. Some of these are a bit more complicated, but there they are for your perusal. Now let's look at another type of string called an F string. And I'm going to get rid of the print to start off, just to show you what it looks like. So if I want, F strings are used for like inserting values of variables inside of a larger string. So for example, if I wanted like some message that was like hello and my name, but I wanted my name to be a variable, so it could be, you know, I could change it as needed. I kind of want to use this name variable instead of having to type in John, which doesn't allow me to change it as easily. So what I can do is what's called an F string. So F stands for format, so it just kind of adds some different formatting in the sense that we can add a variable name inside braces. So if I type name, now I have hello and whatever is stored inside name. And I just typed that without the print, so you can kind of see clearly the anatomy or how you create an F string. But now if I wrap this in print, I can actually print it to my screen. So let's play that. So now we get hello John. This is replaced ignoring the braces. The braces are just there to tell Python, hey, this is a variable. I want you to insert into this part of this string. And this is actually pretty cool because we can also do methods, we can call methods inside of here. So we could make this a titleized version of name to uppercase that J. So now we play that and we get a hello uppercase J. So we could do multiple variable replacements. So if this happened to be like first name and then followed by last name, and I'm going to do a single quote just to show you there's not really any difference between double and single quotes. They'll give you the same results. And I want to do last name. And let's do it in all upper just to show that we can do different methods of our choosing. So again, this is enclosed inside the braces here. I play that and I get an error, this is great because this happens to the best of us, especially when we're doing demonstrations. It can be tricky. So if we look at the bottom, which is my recommendation, always look at the bottom, we get a name error and it says name is not defined. So what I did is I changed this variable name to first name and I forgot to change it here, and it actually marks that for me, but I missed it. So now that should be fixed. Now we get hello John and all uppercase Forsyth. Let's look at my notes here. Now we want to talk about, we talked about F strings. Let's talk about white space characters, okay? So if I want to format this a little bit differently, and this doesn't have to be an F string to do this. In fact, let's clear this just to show you. Let's just have some message. Hello there. And just to make sure everything's working, print our hello message, make sure we typed everything right. Yep, prints our message, great. So we can include in our message, say we wanted to have indentation, so we can do a \T, and that adds a tab, which is just kind of by default a chunk of space in order to indent whichever line you want to be on, or whichever line this appears before. So if we do that, that adds our chunk of space there. And just to show you that it is adding that, let's do our hash mark before it. So you can see the hash, and then we have a tab, hello there. We can also do a new line. So if we do a combination of \n, so \, and \, a mnemonic I like to think about is it leans to the left. So this slash symbol is leaning backwards to the left. If I do \n, what that's going to say is add a new line here. So basically hit the return key and put this there on a different line. So let's play that. So now we have our tab, a new line right after hello, and there is on a new line. So those are called white space characters, and use this special combination of a \, and an n, and they're designed to be easy to remember because T for tab, N for new line. So that should help. So onward and upward. Now let's look at removing white space. So let's say we inherit from somewhere else, like this string that has, let's do it like this, a string that has a bunch of space in front of it, but we don't want that when we print it in our message. So we have all the space that we don't want. So we can call a method, because the space is on the left, there's a method called lstrip, and use parentheses to activate that method. So that will strip or remove all the space on the left side of the string. So now if we print that, it's gone. Same thing, if we had some space on the right side, we can change this to rstrip, and it will remove all the space on the right side. That one's not as obvious. Let's use our F string to make that a little more obvious. So I'm not going to put any extra things other than a hash at the end. So just to show you that it has left, and I forgot to close my quotes. So close my quote right here. So I have an F string, and I'm printing the variable message that has spaces on both sides of it, just to kind of walk you through what's going on. And here I put this hash mark at the end. Notice I didn't add it to the string because that would have essentially break the example, or make the example I want to do here not work, because it wouldn't have any space if I had a hash, right side space if I had a hash at the end. So if I just do an R strip here, this is going to take away all this space on the right side. So you can see that hash appears immediately after, since I'm using the R strip method. And let's put a hash at the beginning before the variable, so you can see that there's also space on the left. So if I want to remove space on both sides, there's also just the simple strip. Or if I just want to be lazy and not have to type L strip or R strip, I could just also use strip, and it'll remove the space on both sides. Okay, now let's look at another example. Let's change this to be a little more accurate of a name for this example. So we're going to have a URL such as www.example.com. And let's say I just want to work with this part of the URL and not this prefix. So Python has a great method that you can use, and I'm going to continue to use fstring here, but I need to change my variable name, update that. So inside the braces, I'm going to type in URL. Let's just run that to test it. So we get URL there. PyCharm automatically makes it a link you can click on. But I want to remove the https://. So there is a remove prefix method. By the way, I don't like this name because typical naming convention is to put underscores between words in Python. So I don't know why they decided to name it that way, but that's how it is. So remove prefix, you just specify the exact prefix you want to remove, which needs to appear at the beginning of the string. And I'm wondering if these double quotes are going to cause me problems. Let's see. No, it works. Okay. So we got rid of our prefix. If we for some reason wanted to get rid of the .com, we could change this to remove suffix method. So just go back to the beginning. So remove suffix, and I could say I want to get rid of the .com, keep the rest of it. So if we play that, then we keep the HTTPS and remove the .com off the end. Okay, there is one other thing I want to show you, like when double quotes versus single quotes can come in handy. So if we have a message and says, don't forget to do your homework, there's our nice message. I already made this work, but notice I have a single quote there. If I used single quotes instead, this would break. So if I try to print my message and I play this, I'm going to get an error, a syntax error, unterminated string literal. So it's saying this string, I terminated the DON, but then I just have like this raw text that's not part of any quotes because they need to match. And so to fix that, I can do double quotes. I have a habit of doing double quotes, just kind of my style that I've picked up, but you can do either or, and sometimes you need to switch it in case you have, like for example, if this don't was a double quote for some strange reason, you could change these to single quotes and still get the string you wanted, which this doesn't make sense, but just for demonstration purposes. So that, yeah, is a brief introduction to strings and just going over the things covered in this chapter. Let's talk about numbers now. So I'm just going to have like a number 1 and a number 2, Let's pick some more interesting numbers, just so the math will work. Sorry about that. So we're going to have number 2 and number 3. So we have two different types of numbers built into Python. We have integers, which are just whole numbers, and we have floats. Floats have a decimal point, so we could have like 3.1, and that is considered a float because the point can kind of float around, I think is the naming convention behind that. So we can do mathematical operations in Python. We can say 2 plus 1, or sorry, 2 plus 3. And if I play that, it shows me 5. We can also do subtraction. So 2 minus 3 is going to be a -1 as an integer. There we go. We can multiply. Get 6. And we can also divide. And division, there's something interesting here. Python will always return a float when you have division. Notice we have 0.6 repeating. And also, if you were to do addition and one of the numbers happens to be a float, so if we add the integer to 1.0, the float, we're always going to get a float as the return value. So, and by the way, if you didn't catch that last example, this symbol was division, / or leaning to the right. That's the symbol used to do division. So again, my point for this example with the plus is that anytime you have a float and a integer in some mathematical operation, you're going to get a float as the return value. Now, another mathematical operation that you may run into is if you want to like square a number, you use double star or qubit or whatever. So let's square 2, and that's going to give us 4, 2 squared. So that's it for this example. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.